Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back. Today I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. Finally, I know I'm late to this one. I don't really have a whole lot to add to the conversation because this is one of those kinds of movies where it's hard to really get into a lot of what the movie is without spoiling it, because this movie is packed full of lovely little nuggets and surprises, and I had a blast. And it's because of that I did see this Thursday afternoon. I made sure that I saw the movie before I left to go on my trip to GalaxyCon. And then even when I got back that Sunday, I went and saw it again with my brother. And I think I'm going to see it either tonight or tomorrow one more time. If that tells you anything, I've enjoyed the movie to go through it that many times. And I really like what they did with these characters, man. I really enjoyed this. I like this a lot more than Deadpool 2, and don't get me wrong, I like Deadpool 2, but it wasn't the strongest of the three, in my personal opinion. And I think this one was a really fun little character journey for both of them, and gives them a new playground to play around in, new rules for these characters, and it just spends a lot of time building them up and giving them this arc and this closure, and it's just so much fun. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, their chemistry is intoxicating to watch, on screen and off screen, man. Their friendship is like one of those things that just warms my heart every time I see them, just kind of hanging out with each other, and just the way they truly, outside of their public, like fake feud and all of that, like when they're being genuine, man, it's some of the most heartwarming shit you've ever seen. At least to me, I think so. Like it's fun to see that there can be these genuine, deep connections that even in Hollywood, people can find. Their performances all throughout this movie was fantastic. I like that they acknowledge a lot of the hang-ups that people are probably going to have, obviously, because Deadpool has the ability to break the fourth wall and all that. So there's a lot of meta commentary throughout the movie as well to kind of get in the audience's head. A lot of interesting little ways that they kind of navigate the MCU. Loved it all. And even after something like Logan, I think some of the scene work that Hugh has in this film is easily some of his best, if not maybe better than some of the scenes even in Logan itself, I dare say. But that comes with age and experience and all this stuff, and he's had time to grow and get into this character. And while it is a different Wolverine, you know, I don't know, it's fun to see him dive into these things. Like, there is an emotional arc for both of these characters, and they kind of guide each other through it, and it's really done so well. And the action is phenomenal. And then just because it's Disney now, thankfully, they did not pull their punches one bit all throughout this movie, man. Like, it is gory. There are, like, what was it? There was like 100 and some F words throughout the movie. I saw a counter someone posted online. It doesn't hold back. A lot of your familiar faces from the previous Deadpool films also pop up in this movie. They're not major components, I'll say. This is definitely a Deadpool and Wolverine film at its core. Emma Corrin, who plays one of the antagonists of the film, gives a phenomenal performance. She's able to meet that energy that Ryan and Hugh both bring and matches them every step of the way in every one of their encounters, I feel like. I love what she did with this character. Even if I'm not that familiar with it, her performance really is a standout. And then you have Matthew MacFadyen, who is this character Paradox. He's our TVA liaison in the film. And also, another really great performance. The soundtrack is great. The jokes are great. There's not a lot of downtime in this movie. This movie doesn't necessarily feel its length. It's just like, once we kind of get into the meat of this, it just hits the ground running. And I dare say, it's got one of my favorite opening sequences out of any of the MCU movies up until this point, man. I absolutely had a blast with this movie. Again, it's hard to talk about a lot of it without going into details, but as far as the Multiverse saga goes, this is definitely up there. It's easily one of the best movies that has come out since Endgame, and as far as the multiverse stuff that has been done up until this point, I think I really enjoyed the way that they did it. And this movie really, it stands out. Like, it, as much as there are member berries buried in there, they're there with a purpose, as much so as they are for the fans. Like, it's fan service that works within the realm of what they are doing, and I really enjoyed it, and it all has a story purpose as well, and I dug it, especially given what they are what this movie kind of is at its core. But again, going into that is a little bit of a spoiler, and if you haven't seen it yet and you've been able to avoid anything about this movie, I'd love for you to go into it as blind as possible, because I think you'll have a really surprising little time. And even despite all the laughs and stuff throughout, like, there are these moments that are extremely emotionally charged that just are moving. Like, there are a couple scenes in this that actually got me to, like, mist up a little bit, you know? It was, I don't know, this movie runs the gamut, and it's not afraid to pull its punches, and I think it's a nice, lovely little jolt of energy kind of shot into the arm of Marvel right now, and it's soaring, man. Its performance right now is blowing most other things out of the water, and I'm curious to see what lesson Marvel's going to take from this moving forward as well, because obviously they've been re-examining their strategies and all this kind of stuff with how certain things have been performing over the last few years. So I don't know, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens post Deadpool and Wolverine with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Coming back to this movie, I will say I think it does a really great job just kind of standing on its own outside of the MCU and all that kind of stuff. It works really well as the third part of this trilogy. I think it does a nice little thing for Deadpool's arc and kind of brings him to a nice little spot that kind of feels natural for where they have been going with this character up until this point. And I loved what they did with him. I loved what they did with Wolverine. I just really, really enjoyed this movie. There's not really a whole lot of hangups I have outside of there's maybe like one or two plot holes. But in a Deadpool movie, and especially in a Deadpool multiverse timey-wimey adventure, I'm not going to fixate on it too much. That all said, I want to know what you guys thought. So sound off in the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. And before you go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Manny Sherritt, York, Scott, Melito, Robert Anguiano, Jeffrey Hale, Jake Contrell, Eric Official, Casey Wood, and Russell Crockett. Thank you guys so much for continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.